Liverpool remain perfect at the top of the table over in the Premier League with 5 wins out of 5. Arsenal dropping more points this past weekend. Can they close the gap? We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at match number 6. That's right, over in the Premier League. And we'll get to it in a second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Premier League. Woo, football. We're going to all here under one roof. That's right, Liverpool perfect so far. The season wants to end today, though. We'd say goodbye to Wolves. We'll say goodbye to West Ham. And we'll say goodbye to Aston Villa. That's right, goodness gracious me. But it can all change dramatically this weekend, and we'll showcase you that in just a second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. But of course, make sure you subscribe to keep you back up to date with the Premier League. So here we go then, guys. Recap of the results this past weekend. And looking forward to the next weekend's drama. We had the Merseyside derby. It was a 2-1 win for Liverpool. I went with a 3-1 win. Brighton with a 2-2 scoreline with Tottenham. Hotspur got that one bang on the nose. Burnley with a 1-1 scoring against Nottingham Forest got that one bang on the nose. West Ham United with a 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace. I went the other way. Wolves did lose as well to Leeds. Big win for them. Meanwhile, Manchester United and Chelsea 2-1 winners it was for United. Fulham 3-1 winners over Brentford. I went with a 2-0 win. Bournemouth and Newcastle 0-0 in the end. Villa and Sunderland Villa 1-1 the scoreline. And then finally Arsenal against Man City also ended up all square. Now, of course, that put that into the table looks like this. Liverpool, of course, perfect record so far, 5 wins out of 5. Arsenal in second spot with 10 points. Spurs and then Bournemouth. Going down it is Wolves, it is West Ham, and it is Villa in the middle of the pack. We've got the likes of City, we've got United in there, Manchester United, and of course Newcastle United. So lots of craziness still going on in the league, and of course it's not really taking shape just yet. But of course, if you want to get involved in our prediction league, which also is taking a little bit of shape, well, this is the link to do it. So get involved. In fact, let's bring you bang up to date with that. As of course, we'll showcase you who's kicking ass and taking names in our very own prediction league. Alrighty then, folks, take a look at who kicked ass and took some names. Well, Lewis B, SAFC, kicked ass with 16 points this past week. Hansworth alongside him with 14.5. And Raymond Reddington, another victory. Also, same scoreline. I thought I would be up here. I've actually got 11.5 points for myself this week. Not the greatest, but we're still moving in the right direction. If you see your name in there, please smash the old subscribe, smash the old like, and of course hit the little bell so your non-stop shop continues. Take a look at the leaderboard though. The main guy is Ultra Omemira with 56 points. Finley's up there alongside him, 55 points. And Arkwolf up there with 51.5. Some big movers though. James OFC up 6 spots to number 4. Achawala up 10 spots to number 6. Look at this guy, Lewis, who just won this past week, up 25 spots to number 12. I'm also a big move, up 9 spots to 17. And some big moves going the other way as well. Some stonking moves. But anyway, it is still early days with that, guys. So keep on getting involved, get predicting, and see if you can start to get your name in the lights. That's right, the dizzy old lights. But of course, there's the link right here, right now on the screen. Of course, get involved with that. And of course, look at the description down below. But we are looking forward to the next round of games. And this is it. Of course, busy old action, lots of drama, big old games as well. So let's kick it all off with Brentford taking on Manchester United. Coming to the Brentford Community Stadium. Keith Andrews doing okay job for the time being anyway for Brentford in 17th spot right now, 4 points for them. They're coming in just on the back of a win and a defeat and a draw. The last 3 up against Manchester United. Ruben Almiron 1-2. Lost 2 out of the last 4 matches. Now, these two sides have played 9 times in 2021. 2 wins Brentford, 5 wins Manchester United. There's been 2 draws. This is, of course, the Brian and Bembo derby. Brentford coming into this on the back of that 4-3 win last time they played at this venue back in May 2025. It was a 7-goal thriller. The hosts pretty much flawless in this game. The only time the away side beat the home side was when Manchester United beat Brentford at this very venue back in January 2022. Brentford, though, on the back of that 3-1 loss to Fulham. Manchester United on the back of that important 2-1 win at home to Chelsea. Bookies odds for this one. Suddenly, everyone's backing Manchester United to win. They've certainly fixed everything. And, of course, they're going to be perfect, aren't they? Not for me, though. I'm going to go with a Brentford draw here. I think they're going to pick up a solid point. They might even take all 3 in my eyes. I think they'll be very difficult to beat. That's the early game on Saturday, the 27th of September. Meanwhile, let's hop on over to Selhurst Park as Crystal Palace take on Liverpool. That's right. Glasnow's boys are 5th in the table, 9 points for them, unbeaten in the last 6 matches. Because Liverpool and Arnie Slot, who are top, they've got a perfect record out of the last 6 matches in all competitions at all sizes. They last played, of course, in the Community Shield. We'll talk about that shortly. But they have played each other 37 times since 1994. 9 wins Crystal Palace, 22 wins for Liverpool. There's been 6 draws. They last played again at the Community Shield. It was a 3-2 penalty shootout win for Palace. They last played at this very venue. It was a 1-0 win for Liverpool. But over the recent records, it's been quite even between these two sides. 2 wins for Crystal Palace, 2 wins for Liverpool, and there's been 2 draws. The last match for Palace was a 2-1 away win against West Ham. Liverpool were victorious in that Merseyside derby against Everton. They're in action tonight in the Carabao Cup against Southampton. Bookies odds on this one. Liverpool over fancied on this one, and I'm going for an upset here. I'm going for a Crystal Palace victory. Liverpool have to lose at some point. I think they're going to lose this one up against the stubborn Crystal Palace. At the moment, 2-1 winners for the host. That's right. Let's go to Chelsea now as they take on Brighton. Coming at Stamford Bridge. Enzo Marquez's boys. A bit of bad form right now. They are sitting 6th right now. 8 points for the campaign, but they are winless in the last 3. Up against Brighton, Fabian Hutzler, back-to-back matches without a win themselves. And they played 21 times, these two clubs, since 2012. 11 wins Chelsea, 5 wins Brighton. There's been 5 draws. They last played at Chelsea, 4-2 winners it was for the blue side of London here back in September 2024. Chelsea, though, losing to Manchester United and Bayern in quick succession, also drawing away to Brentford. But that was 3 matches on the road. The last home match was a 2-0 win over Chelsea. If you know they've had yet to concede a goal at home in the 2 games so far. Meanwhile, Brighton are back at that 2-2 scoreline at home to Tottenham. They're in action. Both of them are in action tonight. Chelsea taking on Lincoln in the Cup, who are flying high in League One. Brighton taking on a Barnsley side. A little bit whimpering, a little bit wounded at the moment in League One, but still a difficult game. But the odds for this match itself, Chelsea expected to win. Going to go with a 3-1 win myself to see Marcus's boys bouncing back. Meanwhile, Leeds United taking on Bournemouth. Coming at you over at Ellen Road. Daniel Farke's boys are 12th right now, 7 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 5. Up against Bournemouth and Andy Arioli, they're unbeaten in the last 3, just 1 defeat in the last 5, and they're taking on Leeds 8 times since 2007. 6 wins Leeds, 2 wins Bournemouth, no draws. They last played over at Ellen Road. It was a 4-3 win for Leeds back in November 2022. Leeds on the back of that 3-1 away win against Wolves. Bournemouth on the back of that home draw against Newcastle United. The last time Bournemouth were on the road, they picked up a 1-0 win at Spurs. Last time Leeds were at home, they could only draw with Newcastle. The odds for this one, Bournemouth are actually fancied for the victory on this one. I'm going to go with a Leeds victory here. I think they may have turned a bit of a corner. Calvert-Lewin's got his goals, of course. We start moving in the right direction, so I do think they're going to give it some this coming weekend. Meanwhile, Manchester City taking on Burnley, coming at the Etihad. Pep Guardiola's boys are 9th right now, 7 points for the season, unbeaten in the last 3. Up against Burnley under Scotty Parker, winless in the last 3. Now, they played 24 times since 2001, 20 wins for City, 1 win for Burnley. There's been 3 draws. They last played over at this very venue. It was a 3-1 win for City back in January 2024. City have won 6 on the bounce, of course, against them. They've scored 12 goals in the last 3 combined. And they conceded 1 goal against them. Meanwhile, Burnley, though, on the back of a 1-1 score at home to Forest. The last away match was a 3-2 loss to Manchester United. City, though, picking up a 1-1 score away to Arsenal. Both sides are in action in the Cup this coming midweek. Burnley taking on Cardiff. City going away to Huddersfield. That's tomorrow. Bookies odds for this one, of course, will back Manchester City heavily. I'm going to go with, in fact, the odds are greater between the 2 sides in this match than they are in the Cup against Huddersfield. So take that, Burnley. Manchester City will win this. I'm going to go 4-0, hopefully 10. Just rub their shitty 6-fingered fingers in it. In the big old pile of shit, please. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest taking on, we got Sunderland coming at the City ground. It's the Ange Postecoglou who's trying to look for the first victory for them. Winless in the last 5. They sit 15th right now, 5 points for the campaign. Up against Sunderland and Reggie Debray, they sit 7th, 8 points for them, unbeaten in the last 3 matches. Now, they've taken on Forest 15 times since 1993. 3 wins Forest, 8 wins Sunderland. There's been 4 draws, including the last time these 2 sides played, which was a friendly this past summer. In fact, the summer last. Coming into this, they last played competitively at this venue. It was a 1-0 win for Sunderland. In fact, the away side has got the better record in this match. In fact, Sunderland have only lost once against Nottingham Forest in the last, I don't even know, 8 or 9 games here. Goodness gracious me. They've got a good record, recent record against them. Coming into this, though, Sunderland on the back of successive draws. Forest also on the back of a draw away to Burnley. Bookies odds for this one. Forest favoured. They need a win. I think they're going to just about get it. 2-1 win. Ange Ball finally gets some points in the bag. Meanwhile, let's go to Tottenham. That's Ange's old club as they take on Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tommy Frank's boys are 3rd right now. 10 points for the season. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Wolves, Victor Pereira just signed a new deal. Just 1 win in the last 6. Of course, in all shapes and all sizes. Yet to get a point in the Premier League. Taking on Tottenham at their home place. 23 times they played since 2003. 10 wins Spurs, 9 wins Wolves. 4 draws, of course. Last time they played at this venue was a 2-2 scoreline back in December 2024. Wolves are actually unbeaten against Spurs over the last 5 matches, picking up 4 wins and a draw. So they are a bit of a bogey side. Coming into this, though, Wolves are on the back of that 3-1 loss to Leeds. Spurs lose, drawing with Brighton on the road. Bookies odds for this one. Both sides are in the cup action as well. Both sides may be trying to focus a little bit on something to get some silverware. But regardless, for this game, Spurs red hot favourites for the W. I'm going to go with them as well. 2-0 winners to take it to the house. Moving forward is Aston Villa, desperate for a win up against Fulham, of course, under Marco Silva. They played 42 times in 2001. 19 wins Villa, 12 wins Fulham. There's been 11 draws. Villa currently find themselves in 18th spot, winless so far. Not looking good. Up against Marco Silva's Fulham, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 8th with 8 points. They last played, of course, at Villa Park. It was a 1-0 win for Aston Villa back in May 2025. Villa have actually won 6 on the bounce against Fulham. In fact, if you look at that record, it's the perfect team to play against. But coming into this, Villa on the back of that 1-1 scoreline away to Sunderland. As for Fulham, back-to-back home wins for them in action tonight in the Cup. Villa also in action against Bologna on Thursday. Bookies odds for this one. I think Villa will just about edge it, but it's a tight game. It could go either way, but I think Villa will get their win at long last. 2-1 win. And hopefully move the chains for Unai Emery's boys. Meanwhile, Newcastle United taking on Arsenal on the same day. That's, of course, Sunday, the 28th of September, St James's Park. Newcastle under Eddie Howe sit 13th right now, 6 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 6. Up against Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, they sit second with 10 points, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They played 67 times since 1993, 15 wins Newcastle, 41 wins for Arsenal. There's been 11 draws. They last played, of course, at St James's Park. It was a 2-0 win for Newcastle. It was in the EFL Cup semi-final, of course. Last time they played in the league at this venue, also a 1-0 win for Newcastle to make it back-to-back wins at St James's Park and back-to-back clean sheets against the Gooners. That's right. In fact, the last 4 competitive matches, Newcastle have won 3 and Arsenal have just won them once. Coming into this, though, Newcastle on the back of that 0-0 scoreline away to Bournemouth, and Arsenal also on the back of a draw against Manchester City. Both sides in action in the Carabao Cup to make me extend their put them in the mixer for some silverware there. But the bookies odds for this game coming at St James's Park. Arsenal are favoured for the victory. I think they might choke here. I think I'm going to go with a 1-1 scoreline once again. Point to the bag. Newcastle will probably take it. Arsenal, I don't know. And then finally we go to Monday night. It's the David Moyes derby. Of course, Moyes' boys are Everton. They're 10th right now, 7 points for the season. Back-to-back games now without a win. Up against West Ham under Graham Potter, just 1 win in the last 6. This could be the writing on the wall for Graham Potter. They're locking horns at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They played 63 times since 1994. 31 wins for Everton, 16 wins for West Ham. There's been 16 draws. They last played at this in Merseyside, or whenever Everton hosted them. It was a 1-1 scoreline back in March 2025. Everton did lose to Liverpool most recently. They're unbeaten at this new venue. They're yet to concede a goal at this venue. So could West Ham be the first team to do just that? Meanwhile, the Hammers are on the back of successive home defeats. However, last time they were on the road, they picked up a massive 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest. The odds for this one, though, Everton massively fancy for the victory. Everton also in action in the Cup. But West Ham have got time to prepare for this one, which could be Potter's final game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Everton. Yes, I am. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. Goodness gracious me. Liverpool, Spurs, Palace are up there into 3rd. And then Arsenal in 4th. Going down, Wolves, West Ham, and then Burnley. Stop the count, of course. Stop the count indeed. That's my picks, of course. Don't forget your own picks in with the Prediction League. And, of course, we look forward to seeing where you ranked next week. But until then, subscribe, smash the like. I'll see you soon whenever I return. But until then, we're done.